The story of Dragon's Dogma begins with a prologue that takes place in a time before the present-day events of the game. The prologue follows a group led by a knight named Savin, who are on a quest to defeat the dragon, a powerful and mysterious creature that is said to signal the end of days. The group faces numerous challenges on their journey, including battles with monsters and treacherous terrain. Eventually, they reach the dragon's lair, and prepare to engage it in a fierce battle. The prologue ends with Savin facing the creature, and then transitions to the present-day events of the story, where the protagonist's village of Casardis is attacked by the newly arrived dragon. When the protagonist attacks the dragon, it takes their heart, leaving them alive but marking them as the Arisen. The Arisen is a figure destined to face the dragon and stop the coming apocalypse, and is served by pawns, human-like beings who live to fight the dragon. The Arisen creates a new pawn shortly after beginning their quest and sets out on a journey to prepare for the final battle with the dragon. Along the way, the protagonist encounters a variety of challenges and characters, including Mercedes Martin, a soldier from a neighboring nation sent to support Granzes' Duke Edmund Dragonsbane against the dragon. The first major encounter with Mercedes occurs when the protagonist heads to a nearby encampment and defends it from a Hydra attack. The Hydra is a fearsome creature with multiple heads, and the battle is intense and difficult. However, the protagonist emerges victorious, taking one of the Hydra's heads before driving it back. Mercedes witnesses the protagonist's bravery and skill in battle and is impressed by their fighting abilities. She recognizes the potential of the protagonist as the Arisen and decides to ally herself with them in their quest to defeat the dragon. From this point on, Mercedes becomes a prominent character in the story, accompanying the protagonist numerous times on their journey and providing support and advice. Her knowledge of military strategy and tactics proves to be invaluable in battles against the dragon and its minions. After the protagonist's encounter with the Hydra and Mercedes, she helps them escort the Hydra head to the Duke's capital of Gran Soren. The journey is perilous, as the protagonist and Mercedes must navigate through treacherous terrain and battle dangerous monsters along the way. However, their determination and skill enable them to complete the task successfully. Upon arriving in Gran Soren, the protagonist begins to undertake quests for the local Worm Hunter Guild. These quests involve battling various monsters and retrieving valuable items, all of which contribute to the protagonist's preparation for the final battle with the dragon. As the protagonist progresses through these quests, they also begin to learn more about the history and politics of Granzes. One of the most significant figures in the game's lore is the Duke, Edmund Dragonsbane, who has held his position for over a century without aging. It is revealed that the Duke claimed victory against the dragon in a previous age, and as a result, has been blessed with longevity by the dragon itself. The protagonist eventually gains an audience with the Duke, who is impressed by their skill and bravery in battle. These events mark an important turning point in the story, as the protagonist begins to gain the knowledge and resources necessary to face the dragon. We eventually learn that Mercedes was sent by her father to serve as a token ally to Duke Edmund Dragonsbane. Other nations fear that Granzes will become too powerful if they defeat a second dragon, which could threaten their own sovereignty. Mercedes, however, grows to admire the Arisen's courage and strength. She begins to see the Arisen not as a tool for her father's political maneuvering, but as a genuine hero who has the power to save Granzes from the dragon's wrath. As such, she continues to fight alongside the Arisen and offers her help whenever possible. As the protagonist continues their quest to defeat the dragon, they encounter a former Arisen known as the Dragon Forged. The Dragon Forged is a mysterious and powerful figure who has fought against the dragon in the past and is revered by many as a hero. The protagonist seeks out the Dragon Forged for guidance and aid, hoping to learn from their wisdom and experience. The Dragon Forged provides the protagonist with valuable information about the dragon's weaknesses and strategies for defeating it. They also give the protagonist a powerful weapon known as the Dragon's Bite, which can deal devastating damage to the dragon. The Dragon Forged's backstory is also explored in detail, revealing that they were once a powerful warrior who fought against the dragon and its minions. However, after defeating the Dragon Forged was cursed by the dragon, causing them to slowly transform into a monstrous creature. Despite this, the Dragon Forged continues to fight against the dragon, using their experience and knowledge to aid the protagonist in their quest. The Dragon Forged's presence highlights the cyclical nature of the Arisen's quest and the eternal struggle against the dragon. The Arisen investigates an underground tower known as the Everfall, which is located beneath Gran Soren. The Everfall is a mysterious and dangerous place, filled with powerful monsters and treasures. The journey into the Everfall is prompted by the local pawn guild, who are curious about the tower's origins and contents. As the protagonist delves deeper into the tower, they encounter a variety of powerful monsters, including the Ore Dragon, an ancient and immensely powerful dragon. The Everfall is also revealed to be connected to the dragon itself, with various portals and passageways leading to the dragon's lair. The journey into the Everfall thus serves as a sort of warm-up to the final confrontation with the dragon, allowing them to gain experience and valuable loot in preparation for the ultimate battle. Throughout their journey into the Everfall, the protagonist encounters various characters who provide insight into the tower's history and significance. One of them reveals that the tower was created by an ancient civilization that sought to harness the power of the dragon. However, their experiments ultimately led to disaster, unleashing dangerous monsters, and sealing the civilization's fate. The Everfall shows the hubris and folly of those who seek to wield the power of the dragon. The Arisen must also confront a nihilistic cult known as Salvation, which is led by a man named Elysian. Salvation believes that the end of the world is inevitable, and that the dragon's victory is necessary for the world to be reborn. As a result, they seek to aid the dragon in its quest to destroy humanity. The Arisen's confrontation with Salvation is a direct challenge to the Arisen's role as the savior of humanity. The cult is a formidable opponent, with powerful mages and warriors at their disposal, and the Arisen must use all their skills and resources to defeat them. Throughout their encounters with Salvation, the Arisen learns more about the cult's beliefs and motivations, as well as the history of the world and the role of the dragon in its destruction. They also come into conflict with Elysian, a charismatic and enigmatic leader who is revealed to have a personal connection to the Arisen. It is revealed that Elysian is a former Arisen himself, who had undergone the same trials and tribulations as the current Arisen. However, Elysian failed in his quest to defeat the dragon and save humanity, leading him to despair and embrace nihilistic beliefs. He then founded the Cult of Salvation, with the goal of aiding the dragon in its quest to destroy humanity. Elysian sees the current Arisen as a reflection of his former self, and seeks to convince them of the futility of their quest. He believes that humanity is not worth saving, and that the dragon's victory is necessary for the world to be reborn. During their confrontation, Elysian turns his followers into undead creatures and sends them to kill the Arisen. The Arisen must fight their way through hordes of undead, battling against the once human cultists who now seek to destroy them. After defeating the undead, the Arisen finally confronts Elysian himself. As the battle between Elysian and the Arisen rages on, the dragon suddenly appears, interrupting the fight. The dragon kills Elysian, revealing that he was merely a pawn in the dragon's grand scheme. The Arisen must now face the dragon in the final battle, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. It is revealed that the dragon was once a human being, who was chosen by a mysterious force to become the dragon in order to fulfill a specific purpose. This purpose is to test humanity and determine whether they are worthy of survival or not. The dragon's connection to the Arisen is also explained. It is revealed that the Arisen is actually a vessel for the dragon's heart, which was taken by the dragon during the attack on the protagonist's village. The dragon's heart is necessary to complete the cycle of rebirth and renewal, and the Arisen must face the dragon in order to restore the heart and allow the world to begin anew. The Arisen's goal is to confront and defeat the dragon in order to prevent the apocalypse. However, as the Arisen approaches the end of their journey, they are faced with a difficult choice. When the Arisen finally reaches the dragon, it offers them a choice. They can either fight and kill it, as they have been destined to do, or they can sacrifice someone they love in exchange for becoming the new ruler of Granzes. This beloved character is someone the Arisen has grown close to during their journey, and their sacrifice would have devastating emotional consequences for the Arisen. However, if the Arisen chooses to sacrifice their loved one, they will become the new ruler of Granzes, taking the Duke's place and securing their own power. The choice forces you to consider the true value of power and the costs that come with it. Ultimately, the Arisen's choice will determine the fate of Granzes and the Arisen's place in its history. After the Arisen confronts and defeats the dragon, a significant change occurs in the world. All those who were connected to the dragon, including the Duke and the Dragon Forged, lose their immortality. This means that they can now age and die like ordinary humans, ending their long lives and making them vulnerable to the passing of time. Furthermore, the Everfall, the underground tower investigated by the Arisen earlier, becomes a bottomless pit that swallows part of Gran Soren, the capital city of Granzes. This event causes massive destruction and chaos throughout the city, leaving it in ruins and changing the landscape of the game world. Despite defeating the dragon and preventing the apocalypse, the Arisen and the world around them are irrevocably changed. You are left to consider the true cost of their victory and the impact it has on the people and places they have come to know during their journey. Returning to Gran Soren after defeating the dragon, the Arisen is attacked by the Duke, who has aged rapidly and now appears frail and weak. The Duke accuses the Arisen of cursing him and causing the destruction of the city. In a desperate attempt to clear their name, the Arisen and their pawns flee the city. As they make their escape, they are suddenly swallowed by the Everfall, which has become a bottomless pit after the defeat of the dragon. The Arisen and their pawns are now trapped in an endless void, falling further and further into the abyss. Passing into a higher plane after opening a portal within the Everfall, The Arisen faces the Seneschal, the godlike being which sustains the world. The Seneschal explains to the Arisen that their role is to challenge the Seneschal and take their place, becoming the new being responsible for sustaining the world. The Seneschal then reveals that Savin, the knight who led the original quest to defeat the dragon at the beginning of the story, became the Seneschal after defeating it. The Arisen is then given a choice to either fight and become the new Seneschal, or to return to their life in Granzies and live out their days quietly. If the Arisen chooses to fight, they face the Seneschal in a final battle. If the Arisen wins, they take the Seneschal's place and become the new being responsible for sustaining the world. Should the Arisen lose the fight with the Seneschal, they are reborn as the next dragon. However, if the Arisen chooses to return to Granzies, they are sent back to the world and wake up in the forest outside of Casartis, as if it were the beginning of the story once again. The Arisen then has the option to live out their life in peace or to continue adventuring. After defeating the Seneschal, the Arisen becomes the new Seneschal, taking up the role of maintaining the world. However, this means that they can no longer interact with the world below and must remain in the higher plane. The Arisen is given a choice to either stay in the higher plane or return to Granzies. If you choose to stay, the game ends with the Arisen accepting their new role and watching over the world. However, if the player chooses to return, the Arisen commits suicide to break the cycle of the Seneschal's succession, and the Arisen and their pawn fall back down to Granzies. The pawn then awakens in the Arisen's body in their village, and they are greeted by their beloved. This suggests that the pawn has inherited the Arisen's memories and experiences, allowing them to continue the Arisen's legacy if they choose to do so. The story ends with the pawn looking up to the sky,